Do I have to do anything? I don't know. All you hoes got my back? I don't know.
If you could sum up Ellen DeGeneres' personality in 2 words, it would be kind. Considered the most friendly, altruistic, and charming figure in Hollywood for over 4 decades, Ellen's reputation crashed down in less than a single year. So much so that it led to her being completely kicked out of show business. But what really happened? Finding her purpose. Ellen DeGeneres was born into a well-to-do household in Louisiana in 1958. Her mother, Betty, was a speech therapist, and her father, Elliot, was an insurance agent. So you see, money was never really an issue for their family. But as fate would have it, her parents slowly grew apart and divorced in 1974. Ellen moved out with her mother, while her brother Vance stayed with their dad. Shortly after, her mother married Roy Grusendorf, a salesman, and moved with her daughter to Atlanta, Texas. That is where things started to go downhill for Ellen. Betty was diagnosed with breast cancer when Ellen was 15 years old. In the midst of it all, Grusendorf used her mother's recent breast cancer diagnosis as an excuse to touch her inappropriately, saying he needed to examine her for lumps. A few days later, he tried to break down her bedroom door and sexually assault her, which prompted Ellen to run away from home and spend the night at a hospital. Ellen did tell her mother about the incident, but unfortunately, Betty did not believe her for 18 more years. So Ellen had to stay away from her family ever since she was a teenager. She moved back to Louisiana to attend the University of New Orleans for a degree in communication studies, but after just 1 semester, she didn't feel like it was useful and dropped out. At this point, Ellen had no idea what she wanted to do with her life. First, she started with clerical work in a law firm with her cousin. Then she moved on to sales at JCPenney and waitressing at TGI Fridays. She worked various odd jobs out of necessity, from painting houses and working in factories to bartending and even going door-to-door selling vacuum cleaners. But she could not find any purpose in her life. That was until she discovered stand-up comedy. A start in comedy. Ellen never really knew anything about stand-up comedy until one day her friends talked her into going on stage and being herself for a charity. She didn't even know what the charity was for, but she gave it a shot. The only thing that mattered was that she was funny, and the audience loved it. To Ellen, it felt like everything was falling into place. Most people who pursue an art form like comedy typically have a deep passion for it. Some comedians even see it as survival and a means to escape from the complexities of real life. On the other hand, Ellen lacked passion but was decently funny. As long as she was making people happy and earning a fair bit of money, it seemed like a pretty good job. In the 1980s, Ellen started performing stand-up at small clubs and coffee houses in New Orleans. Within a year, she was the MC at Clyde's Comedy Club in New Orleans and started performing all across America. By 1984, she was named Showtime's funniest person in America and gained a huge boost in popularity. Ellen's style of comedy seemed indifferent, as if she didn't care about being on stage. This could be perceived as confidence, someone unafraid to fail or tell a bad joke. Now combine that with the fact that she was a female comedian in the 80s, a time when women weren't exactly dominating the comedy industry, and opportunities came pouring in. Ellen had this unique, quirky charm because she didn't rely on shock humor or hot, controversial topics. All she did was comfortably and confidently deliver her wacky and obscure thoughts out loud, which earned her respect from fans and many other legendary comedians. But in the 90s, there wasn't much money or longevity in doing stand-up as a full-time job anymore. Most comedians were either pursuing jobs on shows like Saturday Night Live or writing for movies. Most successful comedians in the 90s got their spotlight through being the face of a television sitcom. And in 1994, Ellen got her big break when she starred in her own ABC sitcom, Ellen. Ellen. The show was about a neurotic bookstore owner in her 30s dealing with her quirky friends, family, and the problems of daily life in Los Angeles. Despite the show being a big hit, It was abruptly canceled in 1998 after 5 seasons. The reason? Ellen came out as gay.
Why do I have to be so ashamed? I mean, why can't I just say the truth? I mean, be who I am. I'm 35 years old. I'm so afraid to tell people. I mean, Susan, I'm gay.
Ellen was planning a historic moment with the puppy episode, which was a code name to keep its intentions a secret. In the summer of 1996, Ellen opened negotiations with ABC and Disney to have her character, Ellen Morgan, come out as a lesbian during season 4. Word of the secret negotiations leaked, sparking a media frenzy of speculation. People wondered whether or not Ellen herself was gay, and how that would impact her career. Gay activist groups like GLAAD started campaigning to show their support. The buzz surrounding the episode permeated throughout the industry. Everyone knew it would be a historic moment. Famous actors lined up to have cameos in the episode to show support. The 2-part episode featured multiple cameos from celebrities, but the most important one was none other than Oprah Winfrey. Ellen stated that if Oprah was there to give the announcement, it would feel genuine and would not be treated as a joke. Even so, a bomb threat was phoned into the studio during production, and director Gil Junger recalled getting a phone call from someone who told him he would be going to hell. Since the cat was already out of the bag, 16 days before the episode aired, Ellen made the cover of Time magazine, announcing her coming out with the caption, "Yep, I'm gay." When the puppy episode aired on April 30th, 1997, Ellen made history by becoming the first lead character on American television to come out of the closet. It was the highest-rated episode of any show on the network, drawing an astounding 42 million viewers. That same day, Ellen did a sit-down interview on Oprah's show, where they discussed her historic moment in detail. While she received a lot of support from other celebrities and fans, the show's advertisers were not as happy and began pulling out quickly. Chrysler, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, JCPenney, Domino's, Ford, and General Motors all decided to stop advertising on Ellen because of the episode. Soon after, ratings began to dwindle, and ABC had to cancel the show. Ellen made the cover of Entertainment Weekly in a similar pose to her previous Time cover. But this time the caption read, "Yep, she's too gay." Unto greater heights. Ellen began making public appearances alongside her girlfriend, actress Anne Heche. They were officially free, and the couple were seen as trailblazers for LGBTQ rights, which was noble. But it wasn't exactly helping Ellen's or Anne's career. Both had gone from being in the spotlight to having small or no roles at all in various unpopular films and TV movies. It's unclear whether they were being blacklisted by the industry or if the movies they were cast in just turned out to be terrible. But the entire situation caused a strain on their relationship, and Anne walked out the door, never speaking to Ellen again. Getting over her heartbreak, Ellen made a move back to comedy with a stand-up special, The Beginning. The name was symbolic of a restart in her career. She tried to make a comeback with the launch of her second sitcom, The Ellen Show, in 2001. Unfortunately, due to low ratings, the show was canceled after just 1 season. But just when things were looking bleak for Ellen, her career drastically changed in 2003 when she voiced the character of Dory in Pixar's Finding Nemo. The movie was a huge hit, securing almost $900 million at the worldwide box office as the second highest-grossing film of the year. It even held the record for the best-selling DVD release of all time, with over 40 million copies sold. Soon after, she launched her third stand-up special, Here and Now, which became a turning point in her career. Many considered it her best comedy special. Ellen was a comforting, silly, relatable, and kind comedian. She didn't talk about race, religion, politics, or anything that could be deemed controversial. There was nothing dark or edgy about her set routines. It was mostly quirky, relatable humor, and audiences loved her. Her positive personality and friendliness made her the perfect candidate for a talk show host, and that is exactly what happened. On September 8, 2003, the very first episode of The Ellen DeGeneres Show aired. Her talk show rose in popularity quickly and became a breath of fresh air in the daytime TV space. During the peak of tabloid journalism culture, where journalists were always hunting for some juicy celebrity drama, Ellen offered her show as a safe space for celebrities. They could come and just have a normal chat with her, maybe play a few games and interact with the audience. This unique approach helped Ellen draw an average daily audience of about 2.4 million viewers, launching her into the top 15 talk shows on television of all time. Over her entire tenure as the show's host, she earned 33 Daytime Emmy Awards, including 2 for Outstanding Host and 3 for Outstanding Show. She was even chosen to host the 2007 Academy Awards. In Oprah's words, she radiated the kind of peace and satisfaction that comes only when you're living at your highest potential. In the public eye. Many people call fame and popularity a double-edged sword. With fame also comes a lot of public scrutiny and rumors. While Ellen had already faced media backlash when she came out of the closet, she was not prepared for what was about to happen next. The accusations began in 2007 with the writers' strikes. The Writers Guild of America was seeking increased residual rates for DVD sales. Writers are the foundation Hollywood relies on, especially for TV shows, because without writers, there are no scripts, no jokes, and no stories. Other talk show hosts like David Letterman, Jay Leno, and Jon Stewart were all supporting the strike and decided to temporarily pause their shows. During the strike, Conan O'Brien not only voiced his support, but also continued to pay the salaries of his writers while they were on strike. On the other hand, Ellen demanded that the show must go on. She stated to her audience, "There's a writer's strike going on, and here in Los Angeles, it's a huge story. I want to say I love my writers. I love them. In honor of them today, I'm not going to do a monologue. I support them, and I hope that they get everything they're asking for. I hope it works out soon." In the meantime, people have traveled across the country. They've made plans. They're here. I want to do everything I can to make your trip enjoyable and give you a show. Most people saw this as a positive thing. Ellen had more than 100 staff members who would not get paid if she decided to stop the show. Plus, there were probably contractual obligations to keep the show running. However, some saw this as counterproductive to the strike, and rumors started circulating that the show had a toxic workplace environment. An anonymous blogger claimed that Ellen put his jokes into her stand-up act, used his words to fill 2 pages in her book, and promised him a job on her show. But when he met with a low-level producer, they said he didn't have the right experience, and Ellen pretended she couldn't do anything to help. Since the post was anonymous in 2007, many did not believe the story. Ellen was still seen as a graceful and kind person both on-screen and off-screen. Be kind. For the next 10 years, Ellen dominated the entertainment industry with no dent in her armor. In 2011, when the Oprah Winfrey Show officially ended, it seemed like Ellen would take her spot as the queen of daytime TV. Although Ellen mostly covered entertainment and not much of politics or social issues, she seemed to be the second best option to watch after Oprah stepped down. Ellen and Jimmy Fallon were quick to use YouTube as a tool for growing their presence among the youth. Most of the memorable highlights made it to the show's YouTube channel, and that was a brilliant strategy. She garnered 23 billion views through celebrity interviews, musical performances, and spotlighting their talented guests. In the 2010s, if anyone went viral, they would be on her show the very next week. And every single segment would end with Ellen giving them some sort of gift through the brands that were sponsoring the show, like the Damn Daniel kid getting a lifetime supply of Vans sneakers. But even apart from sponsored gifts, Ellen made thousands of charitable contributions throughout her career to many social causes. This has been a large part of what makes her so loved. Ellen supported people and families facing difficult times, or those she felt needed to be recognized for their good deeds and hard work in their communities. She created an anti-bullying PSA called Be Kind, which raised money for organizations dedicated to anti-bullying efforts, such as the Trevor Project and Pacer Center. For over 3,000 episodes, Ellen used her platform to accomplish a seemingly endless list of charitable contributions, which she summarized with a simple two-word mantra: be kind. But then, in 2018, the rumors and accusations resurfaced, and this time they became a huge hurdle. The New York Times published an article titled, "Ellen is not as nice as you think." The article raised the idea that Ellen had to pretend to be kind all the time. Tabloid stories featuring anonymous accusations began to resurface, claiming that Ellen wasn't always kind to those she worked with. Ellen was taken aback and stated, "The one thing I want is for everyone here to be happy and proud of where they work. And if not, don't work here. No one is going to raise their voice or not be grateful." Perhaps this could have been worded slightly better, because this exact quote would add fuel to the flames. In March 2020, comedian and podcaster Kevin T. Porter published a thread on Twitter in which he called Ellen DeGeneres notoriously one of the meanest people alive. He asked users to post stories you've heard about Ellen being mean, pledging to donate $2 to the Los Angeles Food Bank for each post. The thread quickly went viral and was flooded with hearsay, rumors, and wild accusations about Ellen. Some even said she fired people who greeted her or looked her in the eyes. The entire situation took a drastic turn for the worse in July 2020, when 10 former employees reached out to BuzzFeed News. Anonymously, they accused Ellen DeGeneres of creating a toxic on-set atmosphere of racism, fear, and intimidation. The allegations included firing employees for taking medical and bereavement leave, and even firing someone for setting up a GoFundMe page to cover medical costs not covered by their workplace health insurance. A black woman who used to work on the show told BuzzFeed News that she experienced racist comments, actions, and multiple microaggressions. At a work party, she said one of the main writers told her, "I'm sorry, I only know the names of white people who work here," and the other co-workers awkwardly laughed it off. To make matters worse, BuzzFeed News came out with a second report, this time with 36 employees accusing executive producers Kevin Lehman and Ed Glavin of toxic behavior and sexual misconduct. They stated that Kevin and Ed touched them inappropriately, making them feel uncomfortable. But nobody said anything on set because they were intimidated and scared of being fired for it. Warner Media, who owns The Ellen DeGeneres Show, decided to take matters into their own hands and conduct an internal investigation. To be honest, Ellen DeGeneres was the face of the show, and that's exactly why she faced the backlash. Because technically, she was seen as the one in command. She even claimed responsibility, even though the allegations were not directly accusing her. After Warner finished their internal investigation, 3 senior executive producers, Ed Glavin, Kevin Lehman, and Jonathan Norman, were all fired. Although they never admitted that any misconduct occurred, firing them was a strategic attempt to save face. They were never sued, tried, or found guilty of committing any crimes. Ellen began her new season of the show with an open apology, but people were not so happy. And after months of speculation about whether the show could even survive the controversy, viewership dropped by over 40%. After 19 seasons, in May 2021, Ellen announced that she would be ending The Ellen DeGeneres Show. Her reputation, built over 4 decades of entertaining and helping people, had come crashing down in just under a year. After her show officially ended, Ellen remained silent and out of the public eye for the past few years. However, this year, she announced her last ever stand-up tour, where she recorded her final special, For Your Approval, on Netflix. She stated, "I used to say, I don't care what people say about me. Now I realize I said that during the height of my popularity. This is the last time you're going to see me. After my Netflix special, I'm done. As she walked off stage in August, she decided to retire from show business once and for all. What's next for Ellen? She has picked up gardening and is enjoying a private life with her wife, Portia de Rossi, who also retired a few years ago. After decades of making the world laugh, Ellen is now finding joy in the simple things, rediscovering what it means to live life on her own terms.
You're welcome. Have a seat. All right. I don't know. I feel bad about all of it. So everybody in the audience,